I think it's a worthwhile exercise to spend some time not taking yourself so seriously. And this may be an exercise for you. It's often for me, I have to cautious, I don't know, you know the word. I have to actually really do this, because I'm naturally, my default is I'm naturally shy. And so it's easy for me not to feel comfortable in larger social settings. You'll see me, I'll be the most quiet typically. Um, and at any group, I'm typically the most quiet. I can't follow along with conversations very well. It's difficult for me to often follow along. But that's besides the point. The point is that at my pace, with the little brain in my head, the little guy in my head, maybe for you as a girl, um, to to consciously actually just be silly every once in a while, or not take yourself so seriously, right? Like, really, there's this real push. Culture is all about. Um, So for those of you who are listening, you're probably business types, you're probably research types, career driven, blah, 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 blah. Um, don't take yourself so seriously, right? Like, actually spend some time where you're doing things that are truly just silly, whatever that particular thing is. So that might be, actively engaging in laughter and smiling. That surprisingly is that is a skill that you have to develop. Right? Like, laughter and smiling. I know it's like super stupid, but if you're in a professional world, the professional world is all about you gotta be serious. Yada yada. Even if you're in like the whole Silicon Valley thing with the foosball tables and all that kind of stuff, there's a certain element of seriousness to everything. Um, you have to be, intellectual and, all that kind of stuff. But taking yourself not seriously is incredibly important. Um, Not only for yourself, like making sure that you have it's a mental health release, right? Like, you can call it medication. Instead of taking medication, you kind of just be goofy, right? Like, find your thing. That's silly. If you like to wear orange socks to work, that's a good thing. Um, if you like to put a bow in your hair because that's your thing, that's great. Um, but but at the same time, why is it actually really useful? If you're thinking about usefulness, which is, your career driven and all that kind of stuff that you're listening to me, um, because people find you approachable, right? You're a normal human being often, right? You got either on one side, I'm really nervous around people that, I don't know, it's kind of my default, right? Like, it's like, oh, you're like way too serious for me. Um, I don't know if I want to hang out with you because you like kind of freak me out. Um, right? Like, the default. Or on the other side, I'm like, oh gosh, you're like really weird because you're just so serious all the time, right? So that just, and I'm not saying like be creepy. It's such a like, it's such a nuance, right? Like, it's such a hard thing to discover what that actually is. Um, but just easing back on everything that you do. Like, I'm not saying don't go 100% or, really try at things, all that kind of stuff. Just easing back and being like, yeah, I don't know, if it doesn't get done, that's fine, right? Like, um, and I know it's easy for me because that's my personality. Um, that's just who I am. That's like deeply ingrained with who I am. It's part of the problem. When I was in my undergrad, there'd be a moment where I'd be like, it's good enough, and just hand the damn thing in. But and so, but it's like so important to have that, right? Like th that is not only the serious drives out in our culture, drives out all of the things that are humorous or that make us human, right? Like those, I believe that those come from the same root, just make us feel good. And all of those things are so important for getting back up, doing the thing that you need to do, sustaining yourself when things are quite challenging, right? Like imagine yourself. So this is normal life is to have a grind. It doesn't matter, right? So I'm imagining from 250 years ago, you're a farmer in the field, right? Like you can either, if you're that farmer in a field, right, or farmeress, whatever, right? Like women used to work in the fields too. Um, if you're in the field and you're like doing things and grinding away and trying to grow things, yes, you can grow an empire, right? And I'm talking about when you can actually grow an empire, right? Like not under the monarchy, but you have that possibility of growing an empire. And I'm not talking about plantations. I'm talking about like probably a rare specific case, um, where if you take yourself seriously and you're out in the field, um, it's gonna suck all the time, right? Like you get back up and it's just a grind. But if you get up and you admire the sunrise every once in a while. You um, practice being light on your toes. You you just try to be a little bit silly with it all. Um, it just feels a little bit better. Doesn't mean like that work doesn't change. It doesn't mean that it's still a grind and you're like, ugh, I don't want to do this, but it just feels slightly better. Maybe not quantitatively better, but man, it certainly helps. Um, so practice that today. Spend a little bit of time being goofy, laughing, doing things that are healthy, taking a little bit of a break, right? Like doing those things are extraordinarily healthy for for yourself and for everybody that's around you. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.